Hi, it's Lucia with another video, and in this video I'm going to invite you to tap along and specifically about anxiety or worry that you have around menopause. Often menopause, because we hear so many things about the symptoms, about the problems we might have, about hormones we might have to take in, etc., that alone, all the information can really cause a lot of anxiety. That is number one reason why we can get into fight and flight, into anxiety, into that then causes sleeplessness because of the cortisol and the adrenaline that runs through our veins, in our blood and stuff. But there are also underlying causes such as experiences from the past. For example, my son, who's old enough to drive a motorbike, he announced a few months ago that he was going to buy a motorbike. And because I lost my baby brother in 2000 through a car accident, which was really quite difficult because he was only 24 years old, I started to build up an anxiety, which I always had because of that event. But because he said then that he was going to buy a motorbike, my anxiety levels just gradually increased. And on that day when he then said, "Oh, I'm about to buy a motorbike," I started to really freak out. I started tapping. I was in the living room. I had to sit down and I just started tapping. Just tapping through the points, saying nothing. He came in. He had a smirk on his face. He said, "Oh, you're still tapping, Mom." And then I started talking. I explained to him what the cause of my anxiety was, that it had to do something with my brother and my own dad and how he lost his only son, etc. And then he sat down because I started sobbing. My son sat down next to me, really held me in his arms, and I just kept tapping, sobbing, explaining. And after that, we reconnected because that was just a really nice moment, because through my anxiety, the build up over those few weeks or the months that when he first announced, that build up that I wasn't aware, that build up actually made us disconnect. So every time he mentioned a motorbike, I was getting triggered and I was more anxious every time he said the word motorbike. Basically, I was going like, oh, and more alarmed and more anxious. So there are root causes that come from previous experiences and we're not aware of them. They build up because one thought can create or get us into fight and flight, and that thought just becomes a loop, and it becomes like a record, and it just builds up more and more. And the more we have that build up, the more we feel disconnected to the people that we might be worrying about, the more we feel disconnected to our body, because adrenaline also sort of turns off our brain, because when we are in fight and flight, we have to run or we have to fight or we have to freeze, and we don't really have to think and digest. Digestion is another thing that is turned off, or indigestion is often a side effect of the fight and flight response. But to say all of this, you need to find out if you tap on a regular basis. The more you tap, the more you reconnect with your body, the more you connect with your emotions that are in your body, that you feel within your body, the more you're going to reconnect with the people that you might be worried about. So I invite you to tap along, even though I'm worried about, and that of course then, to just say this, that then of course this disconnection will cause more problems, of course, with the menopause. Yeah. So if you have a specific anxiety about specific things of the symptoms, you can go and Google the symptoms like I did, and you just go through the symptoms. You might experience sleeplessness. You might experience all sorts of things, and in the setup statement that would then sound, even though I'm worried about the symptoms, or even though I'm worried about something that is currently happening in my life, and I just want to figure out now if I can tap a little bit on it and find out more. I accept that I feel this way, and I'm open to clear some of it. Yeah, clarity always comes with tapping, because the more we tap, the more the adrenaline levels go down. Even though I have this worry about the menopause or something that is happening while I'm going through the menopause, I accept that I feel this way, and I'm open to accept that I feel this way. And then you would follow this worry that I have. It's causing me anxiety. It's worry about the symptoms. This worry that I have. And I feel it in my body. Always remember, as soon as we start tapping, we connect with our breathing. Yeah, to breathe. Remember that worry that I have around my menopause, around the symptoms that I might have, about the symptoms that others have, about that person in my life, about something that is happening, and that kind of feels, that brings me out of balance. And I have to address this. And I really want to address this because I really want to balance my hormones. I really want to have less symptoms. I want to just take this menopause in a stride. It doesn't have to be difficult. But I am worried, and I am addressing this. And the more tapping I do, the more clarity about what my anxiety is about will come. The more clarity, the more clear I will be about this symptoms, those symptoms, about the anxiety. The more clear I will be, the more clarity I will gain. Okay, actually, you just heard me tapping quite loudly. Actually, we don't have to tap that loudly. Okay, top of the head again. This worry that I have, this worry about the symptoms, this worry about the person, the worry that is currently going on that causes me anxiety. Those symptoms that I might have, those symptoms that others had, and that just sounded horrendous. So you really want to be specific, yeah? If you've got something that you've heard about symptoms from someone that were horrendous, well, that was unique to that person. It doesn't have to be yours. It doesn't have to be mine. It can actually, the more I tap, I can really regulate my hormones. The more I manage what my worry is, the more I will be fine. The more I will regulate my hormones, the better I will feel. I'm feeling already better, and I'm open to do some more tapping and more exploring what is really causing my anxiety. It might be something that is from the past experience. It might have something to do with someone I worry. It might have something to do with previous physical problems, previous conditions that I already have. But I promise to do more tapping, to regulate my hormones more, and to get myself into a regeneration mode rather than a stress mode. Okay, I hope this was helpful. If something comes up, something that worries you and you think you can't handle your own anxiety, I would really recommend working with someone experienced, like an experienced advanced EFT practitioner, EFT practitioner who actually receives supervision and who has certain amounts of yearly continuous professional development, and that is really important. is all in the description what an EFT practitioner you want to work with really should have, because nowadays you can even do EFT courses online, such as Udemy or other platforms, which are just not the same as when you do live workshops or live level 1 and level 2 courses. Okay, so I hope that was helpful, and you will see me in my next video. Until then, bye.